Welcome to the Vibrant Guide podcast, where we share stories of inspiring individuals who have turned their passions into successful ventures. I'm your host, Anna, and today we have an incredible guest with us. Our guest today, Mikkel, has been a coach for 5 years and recently authored the book Soar by Living Your Life. This book is a powerful call to ditch perfectionism and pursue the life that you truly want. Please welcome Mikkel.
Hello, Anna. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's just dive right in and get started with your journey. So you've been a coach for 5 years. Can you share what initially drew you to coaching and how your journey has kind of evolved over time?
Yes, so it has been a journey for sure. So I have an engineering degree, so my background's in engineering, went into sales and project management. And then about 10 years ago, I threw up my hands and been like, this is not it. Like something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. So I backpacked in California for 6 months, going in and out of the backcountry, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And there I found that I wanted to help people and be outdoors. So I moved out to Utah from California and started at a wilderness therapy program where I backpacked with kids and worked on their therapy outdoors. And there I learned all about your mindset, your thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions and how they affect how you show up on a daily basis. It's like, oh, this would have been super helpful when I was in sales, when I was doing all the different things I was doing before. So then I've taken that, and that's the basis of my coaching, where I started from. And it has developed and grown since then, from the mindset work to human design to business coaching to so many different things that really get to help people at the root of their issues and what they're facing in their lives and businesses.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about kind of what led you to that decision to go backpacking for 6 months? Because that is a pretty big decision, you know? So what was kind of your thought process besides that?
Yeah, one of my friends, my old colleagues at the time, he told me about this wilderness therapy program. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that combines the outdoors and the helping people. But I was like, I really haven't, that was the first time that I backpacked, really. I backpacked one time before, and I was like, if I'm going to do this, I really need to be able to go backpacking and enjoy it and have fun with it.
Right.
So I started to go more and more and more, and I was like, okay, yes, I can do this and I can have fun with it all too.
That's incredible. Wow. Yeah, that's such a big decision. How does that kind of tie into your coaching today? You know, how do you utilize the things that you learned in your backpacking?
Yes, it's been interesting because when you're out there all by yourself, you're all by yourself. There's one moment where I was hiking up a steep hill. I was going back and forth, a switchback, being like, okay, and in my mind thinking about the miles I was doing and the plan that I had for the trip. I was like, things are not adding up. I was like, that just doesn't make sense. And so on the other side of it, I was like, I sat down with the map and I was like, this is not where I had intended to go. Like, this is not, I did not add up the miles right. And so that's one of the things that I bring to my client, is making sure that there's a plan that actually makes sense. And it's so fun because we can get so in the weeds as business owners ourselves, of thinking like, oh, I got to do this and this and this. It gets spread so thin. But when you're able to zoom out and see the bigger picture of being like, okay, like how many miles can I do in a day? Like, what is it that I need to do to be able to get the results that I want to in my life and my business without killing myself?
Yeah.
That's where you can come back and be like, okay, yeah, this is what I can do to be able to create what I want in my life.
For sure. I feel like not, spreading yourself too thin and creating realistic goals is something that's so important. So what are some common, themes or issues that you see among your clients, and how do you help them address those issues?
Yeah, one of the biggest ones is stress and overwhelm. And I see the biggest symptom with that is doing things that they don't love and what they feel like they have to do, where they have to post on social media, they have to show up in certain ways to their business that's actually draining them. So I pull back and be like, okay, what is it that you actually enjoy? What do you like? And with that, I use their human design so I understand who they are and how they work. So then be able to be like, okay, these are things that you can actually do that are going to lighten your load. That, you might want to outsource this thing because you don't enjoy it. It's not made for you. And that will allow you time to write the book that you've always thought of, to make the blog post that you love writing, do all these things that you love to do. And so it's reprioritizing and reevaluating what we think is a thing that needs to be done to get the success that we need.
That's a really interesting approach. So how do you stay motivated and inspired in your own life when you are helping people so much?
Yes. So it's funny. I saw Someone personal messaged me on Facebook the other day, and it was
Mhm.
like, I'll help you get 15 to 20 sales calls a day and be able to grow your business and everything. And I'm like, cool, I don't want that. Like, I want to interact with 1 or 2 people a day, and
Mhm.
that's it. Like, that's my balance, and that's what works for me. And
Mhm.
so knowing that, then I can be like, okay, what do I want to do today? Who do I want to connect with? And making sure
Yeah.
those connections are lighting me up, get me excited. So I talked with someone earlier today, and it was amazing and magical. And those situations really light me up. But I also meditate a lot. I read my books. I walk to the beach. I have downtime that really supports me in the things that I want to do. So that's how I balance it all, is to make sure that I'm not overloading myself in what I'm
Mhm.
doing and having projects that I'm excited about too. I'm also in a deep dive of a Spanish class right now, and it is
Mhm.
intensive and really hard, but it helps me to use my mental space for that and be able to have a break from the business and then come back and be like, oh yeah, now I remember this, I want to do this. And it provides that inspiration too.
Yeah, so it seems like you've gotten balance super down. Do you have any tips for listeners that are kind of like trying to get that work-life balance down and how they can effectively do that and use their time purposefully?
Yeah, the biggest misconception that I see is that you have to do it all. And the truth is, you don't. You really don't. And the more that you can understand that when you prioritize yourself and your own well being, the work that you do and how you show up is going to be so much better. So, first, understanding what it is that you enjoy. Do you like reading? Do you like walks? Do you like watching videos on YouTube or watching shows? What actually relaxes you and allows you to be in this open state to come back to the work that you love to do when you're in the right state of mind and
Mhm.
have power and energy and focus to be able to move you forward? So understand you don't have to do it all. You're not going to be able to either way. And so making sure that you're prioritizing yourself to be able to come at it with more energy and excitement will go a long ways.
That's really awesome advice. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your book. So, your book, Soar by Living Your Life, it's broken down into 3 parts. Could you give us a brief overview of each part and what readers can expect?
Yes. So it is a journey into yourself. And so it's this
Mhm.
incredible 3-step process to be able to understand who you are and be
Mhm.
able to take the steps that you need to create the life that you want. So the
Mhm.
first part is all about human design, and that is
Mhm.
understanding who you are and how you work. For
Mhm.
listeners, if they don't know what human design is, it's kind of like astrology on steroids. It's
Mhm.
where this beautiful thing of combination of so many different modalities that really allow you to take a deep dive in how you make decisions, how you interact
Mhm.
with people around you, how you can set up your business so it can be in flow and support you rather than draining you.
Mhm.
And then from there, once you understand yourself, then the second part is all about worthiness. To know and
Mhm.
understand that you're worthy of what you want and
Mhm.
who you are as a being, that you are worthy to be here and worthy for the goals that you want and envision in your life.
Mhm.
And the third part is all about understanding what those goals are, diving into your values, diving into what it is that you actually want, and being
Mhm.
able to make a plan to make that happen in your life that works for you. So, using your human design to be able to make those goals and break them down in ways that really empower you and allow you to move things forward in the way that works for you.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear a little bit more about, the first part, human design, and how that's determined, how that works, and how it can make individuals understand themselves better.
Yes, so it's based off of your birth time and birth date and birth
Mhm.
location. So those 3 things, similar to astrology, allows you to break down what it is your human design is. So there's many different components within human design. You
Mhm.
may pull in your chart and be like, oh wait, what does all this mean? What are the numbers? What does this body thing look like?
Mhm.
But the 3 main areas that I like to focus on for individuals is your type, your strategy, and your profile. And all of this can be looked up online. I have classes on my website. There's all sorts of different resources out there to be able to help you understand yourself in different ways. And
Mhm.
it really helps you to see that you're not alone. Nothing is wrong with you. And
Mhm.
to really sink into your gifts and the things that you may have seen as things that have been bad about you, but are really your strengths and things that really can provide such value to this world. And the more that you transition from seeing yourself as the different components as wrong, but magnificently right, the more
Mhm.
you can lean into them and use them to show up in your life in ways that get you the results that you want, both in your normal life, your day to day life, as well as your business, too.
Wow, it's very interesting that you turn those weaknesses into strengths. How do you kind of change the mindset surrounding that and kind of make people see their strengths and their gifts?
Yes, that is what the whole second part of the book is about, worthiness, because
Mhm.
it really is about seeing that all these different things that you thought have been wrong your whole life are
Mhm.
not. And so in the second part, there's lots of different techniques and different tools to be able to dive
Mhm.
into, okay, how do we strip away all this shame, all this doubt, all this fear, and realize that you are perfect just as you are. There is nothing wrong with you. So
Mhm.
there's timeline healing in there in the book. There is different tools. There's dancing, there's movement, there's questioning your beliefs and what's going on. There's so many different tools and resources to be able to take a look at what you have thought as true for so long, but it's
Mhm.
not. So then you can go into and be like, okay, like I am magical, I'm amazing, like I got this, I know what I'm doing, and
Uh,
transition into that, because that's where you shine. That's where you can provide this world so many things.
so having, talked to many clients, why do you think people struggle with feeling worthy? And what are your favorite strategies to, help them see those results and overcome those feelings?
Yes, there are so many things in this world
Mhm.
that push us to feel unworthy. It is social media and everyone showing their best life on there. As people
Mhm.
saying, I made $1 million doing this one thing. It
Mhm.
is so many things out there that say that they're not good enough. Marketing is based on this, saying,
Mhm.
oh, here's all your weaknesses. Here's all these blemish on your face that you need to resolve. So many things are in our society made to show us that we are wrong, that we are at fault, that something is wrong with us. And so,
Mhm.
knowing this, when we look at the media, when we're able to watch a show or go on social media, know that all these different things are presented to us in ways that make us feel not so worthy, then we can
Right.
see that's what's going on and either step away from the things that are triggering us or have that filter on and be like, no, that's not me. Like, I don't need to like engage with that. I don't need to be, that's not me. Doesn't resonate.
Mhm.
That does take strength and your worthiness and to know that you are worthy. And sometimes in your low states, when you're feeling sad or depressed or anxious, you might buy into those thoughts, and that's okay. But some of my favorite ways to be able to shift that, movement is one of them. So, like, even just working out, going on a walk, dancing to your favorite song, all these things can shift energy and be able to bring you present to back to your body, back to your space, back to what
Mhm.
is actually true. Because our mind gets clouded into being like, this is all the different things that are going on. When in
Right.
truth, you are whole, you are magnificent, you are capable of so much. And so the more that you can see that, the more that you can be like, okay, no, that's not me. Like, I am moving on, I am moving beyond. And then the second way, I'll share two ways here, is to question these thoughts. And it's hard because oftentimes when we're in this negative space, we want to be like, what's wrong with me? What's going on? But that's actually not the best time to be able to work on these thoughts and beliefs because when you question them, they'll just be like, this and this and this and this and this is all wrong with you. But in reality, that's just because you're in a negative state. That's because you're already in that state. So once you shift that state, once you put on a song and dance, once you go on a walk with a friend and talk about it, that's when you can be able to look at those thoughts with a clearer mind and be like, oh no, that's just something from my childhood. That's just something that someone said at one point. That's actually not true. And you can move beyond it.
That is great advice and that is so inspirational. Could you share a personal story or an example of a client who successfully embraced their worthiness and saw a transformation in their life?
Yes, one of my clients, I was talking to her at one point and I was like, what do you really want? Like, we're just like dropping the book here. Like, what is it that you want? And she was like, no, I really love the sun. I live in Oregon. It's cloudy most of the time. It's not great. Like, I just don't do well in it. And I was like, okay, where's your favorite place? She's like, Hawaii. I was like, which island? Maui. Okay, cool. Like, do you go there often? Yeah, she goes several times a year. I was like, have you ever thought of living there? She's like, no, 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 no. I can't do that. That's too much. Like, my
Mhm.
friends are here. My job is here. There's too much going on with it all. And I was like, okay, cool. Those are just thoughts that you're thinking right now that are holding you back from this.
Right.
So what if you did? Like, what would happen with it all? Just go I find new friends, of course. Like maybe my work would be able to let me move out there and work remotely. And flash forward 2 months, it wasn't very long. She's living out there. and looking at buying a place. She's having fun and enjoying her life out there. I see pictures on social media of her, and she's at the beach with her boyfriend, just hanging out, having a wonderful time at her apartment. And so it's incredible to see what we can, when we move beyond our fears and our doubts and really see what it is that we want, we can make magic happen and enjoy our lives so much more.
Wow. So, what advice would you give listeners who are thinking of taking a big leap or a big step and are, nervous? As you said, their thoughts are in the way. How would they go about doing so?
Yes. One of the best ways to be able to move through these thoughts and fears is to talk about it, is to bring a voice to them, to express them in some way, because oftentimes they can be stored in our mind and our body and just kind of ruminate, go back and forth, back and forth. And so when you're able to share it with a close friend or a coach or a therapist, someone around you who can listen and understand and be like, you are worthy of so much. Like, you can get after this if you want to. That can go so far for you and allow you to push beyond what you even think is possible, because there's so much in you, and oftentimes others see it in us before we do. And when they do, they can light you up, they can inspire you, they can show you what's possible.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, just kind of talking about the third part of your book, I know it's about, getting what you want and knowing what you want. So, what are some common barriers that you see people facing when they're trying to pursue their dreams, and how do they overcome them?
Yeah, I first want to talk about not knowing exactly what you want, because so many people out there think like, okay, I need change, I need something, but I have no idea what it is. And so diving into your values, what it is you actually cherish in your life, what do you appreciate, what supports you in your life, these can provide you clues and ideas of what your next steps are. Because if we don't understand what we value, what we appreciate in our life, what's going on, then we don't know what it is that we want. And that can be really hard. So starting there can go a long ways. And know that you don't need to know the exact path. You don't need to know 10 years down the line what's going to happen, where you're going to be, what's going to occur in your life. You just need to take that first step. And so that first step might be going on vacation. It may be telling your boss tomorrow I'm going to work from home and see what happens. It could be so many little things to be able to help guide you on the right path. But it really is taking the first step of understanding what it is, at least a tiny little glimpse of what you want. What's that door that wants to be open and you just keep on shutting and be like, no, I don't see you. I don't, like, it's not there. Like, peek into it and see what's there, see what's around that corner, and see what could be that light for you. And start to take baby steps if you need to be able to help open that door some more and take a baby step in and see, like, okay, what's it going to be like? Do I like this? Do I not? What supports do you need? And provide that for yourself so you can go in all the way into your life.
Yeah, that is awesome advice. So many people, they lack the confidence to pursue that first step. What advice would you give someone that's kind of struggling with?
Yeah. Some of my favorite ways to be able to take those steps is to make them enjoyable. Oftentimes we think like, oh, it's going to be so scary. It's going to be so awful. Like, I just have to do it. But in reality, you get to choose how you do things. And the more that you have fun and enjoy them, the better. So I was working with a client and she was having some issues doing some work that she just didn't want to do. Sometimes I dive in and be like, okay, like, do you really need to do this or do you not? Other times you got to do it until you figure out how to do it. And so she was in a position where she needed to do it to move forward. So we're like, okay, how can you actually make this fun? And she's like, well, I really like these lemonades from Panera Bread. And I'm like, okay, cool. You can just go work there. Like, no problem. Like, that's what, like, less than $5 that will help you to complete this task and move you forward and to have this off your brain so you can live your life some more. So figure out how you can almost like bribe yourself to be able to take that step. Is it going out to a restaurant? Is it taking a walk? Is it going to the beach? What different things can you do to be like, yeah, it's going to be totally worth it because I can do this on the other side or have this on the other side. That's a fun way to be able to do it.
Oh, that's a great idea. I definitely want to start doing that in my own life to kind of achieve my goals. I know that a big theme in your book is perfectionism. Why do you think that perfectionism holds so many people back, and how can we start to let go of that feeling?
Yeah, with everything that we had going on in this world, everyone has an opinion and they want to share it. And so this is from books to media to social media to news to TV shows. They will tell you how to dress, how to show up, how to be in your business, how to do life in general.
Right.
And so that has this idea of what the perfect life is. You know, it is living on the beach, having the bikini on, like looking good, feeling amazing, being tan, like whatever it is. You're like idea of perfection. It's like we have bought into this as a society because it is shown to us so many times. And the more we see things, the more that gets reinforced. So that's one of the reasons why all these different things that you see in your life, being like, oh, this is how I need to show up. This is how I need to do my business. This is how I need to live. It's because of everything that's coming into your life, how you grew up, all these different things that show you that this is the perfect life. But in reality, perfect life is individual. It is based on who you are and how you work. And so the more that you can lean into, okay, wait, no, that's not me. Like, this is not my idea. This is not what I want. I actually hate the sand. I don't like the beach. Like, that's not even my idea of perfection, like perfect. So, like, what is it for me? And when you're able to see, like, that's not me, what is me? What is it that I can do and be to be able to show up in life that really fulfills me and really gets me going in the morning and be like, yeah, this is my life. I'm so excited. What are those things that really drive you?
Yeah, definitely. How do you determine those things? You know, especially when there's so many opinions and people pulling you in all those directions. How do you really listen to yourself and what you want?
Yes, the biggest inhibitor that I see from this is the intake of information, intake of shows, of TV, of all these sorts of different things, like podcasts, so many different things that you can just intake. And so it's allowing space and quiet and rest to come into your life so that you can see and notice that once you turn down the volume of everything else that's going on, what is it? What are those little whispers in you that come up and be like, I want to go to the beach. Oh, I want to go camping. Oh, I want to message this person. What are those small inclinations that you have turned off for so long? And the more that you can quiet the noise around you and listen inwards, that volume's going to get louder and louder because you're listening to it. I'm like, oh yeah, you want to hear me? Like, here's some ideas, here's some insight. Like, let's go, let's live this life that we have here. And so the more that you can do that, to be able to listen internally of what's going on and where you're at, and listen to what it is that you tell others when you're in that excited state, when you're inspired in your life, because those are the things that light you up, that you should, take a look under the covers and be like, what's underneath this? What's going on? What am I excited about and why?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when you are quiet, you can find out a lot about yourself. Could you share a time in your own life when you had to ditch perfectionism to achieve something meaningful?
Yes, so many different times. Even writing the book on perfectionism, it was very silly because I was like, okay, like I just need to get this down. Like I shouldn't face this issue. Like I'm writing a book on it for goodness sake. Like I should be able to know this stuff by heart and be able to not feel it. But of course, those doubts, those fears, those concerns came up, being like, oh, should I include this in the book? Oh, this chapter should be longer. Why am I saying this? Oh, that doesn't look right. All these different things came up that prevented me to continue writing the book, from continuing to edit it, from continuing to put that page, the cover of it together. All these different things allowed me to question so much with it all. But the more that I saw the bigger picture of why am I doing this? Why am I putting this out there? I know it's for the people out there that are facing similar issues, to show them they're not alone, to show them that there's ways to get through this and how to do it in ways that actually work for them. The more that I can zoom out and see that, the more I could be like, okay, it's not really an issue. It's going to be okay. But that took time and consideration for myself and being like, okay, I'm not going to write this in 3 months. I'm not going to write this in 6 months. Whatever time it takes, I will make it happen to be able to keep coming back to this because I feel so impassioned by this and know that so many people need this in the world.
Yeah, definitely. So for our listeners that are kind of just starting this journey to live their best life, what are 3 actionable steps that they can take today to begin their transformation?
Yes, the first is to allow that space in your life. So it could be going on a walk, it could be putting on a meditation, it could be just sitting outside and listening to the birds. Take some time to just be with yourself. And sometimes it can be hard for ourselves to turn it off and be like, okay, I'm just going to be silent. I'm going to do nothing. So if it's just for a minute, that's totally fine. Because oftentimes when we just sit down, our brain can be like, oh, like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? You might twitch a little, be like, oh, too much. I gotta have some intake of something. But the more you can see, like, oh, this is actually quite nice. Maybe I'll spend another couple minutes here. Maybe I'll just sit here and I'm bring my tea over here. When you're able to sit with that, then you can see what's going on inside of you and allow some space for everything else that's coming in to settle, to let go. The second step is to start to understand what it is that you want. Start to listen to those inclinations and ideas that keep on coming up for you. What do you keep talking about, or what do you keep putting off? And how can you take some action to be able to see yourself in that life, of that life that you really want, of doing those things? Allow yourself to go there and do it and take those baby steps, even if you have to bribe yourself to make it happen. Because the more that you do, the more you're going to enjoy your life and the more you're going to be excited to wake up and get up for the day and make things happen. And then the third is to surround yourself with people that understand, that are supportive, that care about you and what you're going through. It's so easy to be on social media and be like, okay, like all the chatter and all the different things, negative thoughts and everything. And so when you notice that, bring self-compassion, bring compassion to other people, and be like, makes sense that you're going through this, that you're feeling that way. I'm not going to engage with that right now. Like, I'm prioritizing myself. I am here for me. And so find the people that are around you that really care, that understand. It could be your mom, could be a friend, could be a sister, could be someone on social media as well. But start to share the different things in your life that are going well. Because the more that you share that with people that really care and understand, the more we can bring everyone up. And the more that we do that, it's like a wonderful circle of being like, okay, I'm going to support you, you're going to support me. It's going to be all this wonderful thing to be able to help bring us all higher in the world.
Yeah, those are definitely 3 amazing steps. How would you go about finding those people that lift you up and support you and creating that circle?
Yes, it is a challenge. It could be a challenge in today's world, especially if you're new to an area, or building friends can be hard too.
Mhm.
So if it's not your family, family is an easier one sometimes to be able to be like, hey, like, how you doing? What's going on? And establishing other relationships. But you can also reach out on social media. If there's different people that you know and connect with, if there's different groups on social media that you resonate with, if there's like Bumble for Friends or Meetup, there's all sorts of different places where you can connect with people. And if you have in your mind that you're going to connect with people who are bringing you up, that are inspiring you, that are motivating you, you'll be able to filter the ones that aren't out really quickly and find your people.
Definitely, those are some great strategies. So, what advice would you give someone who feels overwhelmed by an idea of making changes in their lives?
Yes. Our brain will often freak out of the unknown. We don't know what that next step is.
Right.
And so what you can do to help support it is to create a plan. Because plans are the antithesis to that unknown. Because when you know what's going to happen, then it's not the unknown anymore. So create 1, 2, 3 steps of what that's going to look like for yourself. So it could be like, okay, I'm going to take a step out the door today and see what happens. Okay, that's the first step. Then I'm going to walk to the mailbox. Second step. Then I'm going to walk to the end of the street. And that could be it. That could be your 1, 2, 3. And then you come back. And that could help your mind from being like, okay, like, but I wanted to get out. I wanted to just relax. I didn't want to be on my phone anymore. Like, oh, I just have to walk on the street. That's all I have to do. Like, it's not too much. I can totally handle that. And so when you're able to break it down, then you can see the different components and allow yourself to see that those small components are actually really doable for you rather than so overwhelming in the bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely breaking things down is something that's very helpful. Could you share a personal story or a breakthrough moment that you had with a client that highlights the impact of your coaching with them?
Yes, so many different things. Let's see here. One of my clients, they wanted to start a business, and they were a bit afraid of what that could look like for them. They were in the big picture and like, okay, like I want to do this big thing, this big situation. I gotta have a website, I have business cards, I gotta have connect with people, I gotta do all these things. I was like, okay, let's calm down about it. Let's first use your human design and figure out actually how you go about and most likely finding your clients. And for them, it was their connections. And so talk to them, being like, okay, like Has anyone talked to you about the different things that you have going on? Because I know you love talking about this. You haven't done it yet, but you love talking about it. Has anyone been like, yeah, I love that? You're like, yeah, actually, a couple people. And I'm like, cool. Okay, we're going to start there and be able to create things for them to be able to help support this next step for you. Because it doesn't have to be, to the masses. It doesn't have to be to the specific way that everyone else has told you it has to be done. You can do it in a way that works for you. And so he was a wood worker, and he created these different things for his friends and family, and they paid him for it. He's like, oh, this is really cool, like wonderful, like this is so exciting. And so now he's in the process of building a huge shop to be able to help support his business and this wonderful thing that he's created for himself, where he's had this business that supports his life in so many different ways.
Wow, that is definitely an impressive story. So, as someone who has helped so many people, what do you think is the key to a lasting personal transformation?
Doing it in ways that work for you. So, oftentimes we turn to things that are not the right fit. We go on a weight loss journey and we don't eat carbs, we don't eat cake, but you love cake, you love chocolate. There's no way of surrendering it. And so, with personal transformation in your own life, this can be seen the same way. You could have the journal and write in it every day, but you hate journaling. You could, have a coach that you hate, and you're like, I have to have a coach. And you're like, but it doesn't have to go that way. It can be in ways that actually feel good to you. And so figuring out those ways that really work for you is the key. So for me, I love meditating. I love journaling. I love going walks and thinking about things. But other people, that's not for them. A lot of my clients are like, you spend a couple hours meditating a day, and they're like, whoa, no, not for me. A lot of people say that in general, but that's okay. And so maybe 5-minute meditation for you. Like, what does that look like for you that's actually going to bring you up and motivate you, inspire you, and take you to those next steps? Figuring out your way is the key to make it successful and to make it ways that last for you. Because if you continue to do things that really tear you down and make you doubt yourself and question yourself and be like, I have to do this, and that's energy you have, like, I have to do this, then of course you don't want to do it. But if you're like, oh my goodness, like I get to go on a walk and think about my future and what I get to do, oh my goodness, I'm so excited about that. And that's going to help you to continue to do it. And so figure out the ways so you can utilize the tools that you have to support yourself that really feel good to you.
That is great advice. So, kind of just shifting to your future plans, what's kind of next for you? Like, do you have any upcoming projects or goals that you are excited about?
Yes, I move from one thing to the next really quickly. And so I have a couple of things that I have working on now and a couple of things in the backlog that I'll be coming to here soon. One main thing that I have going on now is a coaching program called Travel Transformation. And it is a one-on-one coaching experience where we take 3 trips in 3 months to be able to help transform your life and business. And so I'll go to you for one of these trips, you come to me for one of these trips, and we go to a location that you've always wanted to go. And so within that, the travel is a way to be able to help stir all these different things in your life and business that you've been wanting to do. Like, oh yeah, I can actually have this, I can actually do this, and do it in ways that work for you too. So that's one thing that I have going on now. It may fill up pretty quickly, so we'll have to see. And then a second one is a co-working coaching program where come to work with me to be able to co-work and work on the things that you know are the things that you have not been doing in your life and business that you know you should, and then get some coaching in the middle of it to be able to help move through things that you really aren't doing, and then go back and do some more co-working. And so it is this beautiful balance of getting the support you need and allowing the space for you to do it. Because I know so many people have been like, I know I need to do it, I just need to do it. And so we're going to sit down on Zoom and I'm going to watch you just do it if I need to. And you're going to get it done. It's going to be amazing. So that's a new coaching program that has had a wonderful response. And then something that's in the backlog that'll coming out soon is another book. It is a 30-day money mindset transformation. And so that will be out probably by the end of the year here. And that will be a beautiful balance with the solar violet in your life.
Wow, those are all such exciting things. The travel program sounds so cool, so all so exciting. I know your book is available on Amazon, What do you think are kind of like what do you hope are the main takeaways that readers will have after reading Soar by Living Your Life?
You have so much more control over your life than you could have ever imagined. So many times we think that we are stuck in the way life is right now, but you're not stuck. You can move on. You can take the next steps to be able to enjoy your life more. And the book allows you tools and resources to be able to figure out what those next steps are for you. And so take them. Be able to choose yourself on this journey of life and start to enjoy your life more.
For sure. And how can listeners learn more about their own human design? Like, are there any resources or tools that you recommend?
Yes. So my book, the whole first part about it is on human design. But also, if you just Google human design, you're first going to need your human design chart. So many of the resources out there will provide that. But if you just type in human design chart, they'll send you to so many different resources. Most of them are really good and helpful and have so much information for you to be able to dive into. The world is your oyster. Google is your friend, and use it to be able to find the information that works for you. I do have classes, as I mentioned too, on my website. If you want something that's condensed and just right there where you can go to something like, I just want to know it and have somewhere that's, you don't have to go dig for it. It's all there available for you.
And where can our listeners find out more about you and your work?
Yes, they can check out my website, afulfilledlifecoaching.com, as well as Facebook. That's where I do a lot of my social media under my name, Mikkel Leslie.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mikkel. This was great. And thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys next week.